There's a greeting card in. Apologies.
You say football too.
I said hola, and I said, no, that's Spanish.
I see you. That's hello.
Okay, are we ready to go to the board?
Football too later.
You want me to do one more up here?
I think you better do one more up here.
You better do one more up here, because if you're discouraged,
All right.
we're not smart.
Okay, let's do one more thing here. It's going, right?
Yeah, it's going. It's going.
I appreciate you telling me about
Yeah.
making sure people in radio land can see
Yeah.
it. We'll try to do better in the future.
As a matter of fact, I mean, you could sit there and write it out on the thing when you're going around the board so that the students.
Right, I'm trying to get one student to go up there.
Yeah,
That's what they'll. That'd be awesome.
Okay, thank you, Travis.
for extra credit.
All right. Now you can do a Venn diagram of a syllogistic argument. You remember the S and P proposition? Okay, here you've got a subject term, predicate term, and a middle term. So if you wanted to diagram this proposition, you would take the subject term and the middle term and kind of ignore P over here. And let's do the one that Jake did. Jake, give me your first major premise.
All bankers are golfers.
All bankers are golfers. What kind of statement is that? Okay, and golfer is my middle term, right?
Yeah.
Something, a middle term is something that appears in the proposition, in the premises, but not in the conclusion.
Golfers.
Golfers is middle term. Okay, so if I wanted to diagram that, all bankers are golfers, what would I do?
They got no other.
The S and the M one?
Yeah, I want a diagram.
So you would highlight that? Well, you highlight the other
Notice it's a universal statement, so you shade, right?
ones. Yeah, you shade out the other ones.
All right, so I'm going to shade this one. And that's
the
going
bottom
to,
one.
Oh my goodness.
No,
no, this is,
just that one.
all S is M. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm shading that. But I'm also shading this.
There's no M there.
See, M's down here. Right, there's no M.
Lord have mercy.
I
Okay?
don't want to draw that.
Now, what's my minor premise say? Jake?
That makes sense. Lawyers?
Read it to me.
All bankers are golfers. All lawyers are golfers.
All lawyers are golfers. That's the minor premise, right? All lawyers, P, are golfers. So what would I do?
You'd shake that part.
I'd shade this part in. Start here and shade all this in. Okay, now the neat thing about the Venn diagram is that if it's valid, you can look at it without doing anything else to it and see the answer. Now, what's the answer? What's the conclusion say?
Everybody's. Wait.
All bankers are lawyers.
It says all bankers over here are lawyers. Well, look, here's some that's not shaded in right here. So it's invalid. See, if all bankers were lawyers, this would be shaded in if the syllogism was valid.
What do the lines over the top mean?
It means it's not, yeah.
It's like a negative.
This is S, but not P, but M.
Oh, okay. So S and M.
Right.
Which is what? Yeah. Which S stands for subject.
Yeah. S stands for this circle, P stands for that circle, and M stands for that circle. So in a syllogism, you don't want any more information than you already have. You just want to make it explicit. And so we'll do a valid syllogism and draw a Venn diagram of it. But I do want you to take that car thing home and try to make a valid syllogism out of it.
So we could do a Venn diagram of that.
Yeah, let's do it over there. Well, okay, let's do it on here and we'll do it. All right, what's it say?
All logic students or suicidal persons.
Okay, now is that my major premise? Suicidal persons are, what's the conclusion of my, premise of my conclusion?
What is the premise of your conclusion?
No, what is the predicate of my conclusion?
Predicate of the conclusion is logic stupid.
Okay, and that's in the first syllogism, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. And what does it say?
All logic students are suicidal persons.
Okay, so suicidal persons is a middle term?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I want to shade in everything that's in S that's not in P or M, or not in P, not in M,
Not in the end, yeah.
not in M. So I shade all this. That's a E statement? No, that's an A statement. Okay, all right.
Next, no suicidal person is a smart person.
Okay, that's an E statement. And suicidal person is my middle term, so I shade in this part, right?
No,
An E,
yes.
an E statement shades in this.
No suicidal person, nobody in the M goes in P.
Okay.
I'll sing one.
Now I ought to be able to see my conclusion by just diagramming those two.
SPM.
And what does my conclusion say?
No smart person is a logical student.
And that would be, this is empty. And there it's already shaded in for me. That's a valid syllogism. And what is it? It's A, AEE4. And there's a Venn diagram of it.
Huh. Interesting.
So if you don't have to do anything, if you have to add anything after you do your two premises, you don't have a valid syllogism.
Very nice.
All right? Okay, let's do one for Lucas here. Lucas, take the next one after Jake.
Let me find
All
it.
men are benevolent, is that it?
No, that one? Oh. So all men are benevolent. I can do this all separately.
All right? Read it to me first.
Okay, the first. It's not gone.
We got one, right?
All men are benevolent is the first
Okay.
thing. The second one is all women are benevolent. Therefore, all women are men.
All right. Is it written in standard form?
No.
Okay, you're going to have to make some changes. What changes are you going to make?
Benevolent is just an adjective.
Right. So what am I going to have to do to it?
Add people.
All men are benevolent people?
Yeah.
Okay. How about the minor premise?
Okay, and the minor premise, yeah, benevolent people.
Okay.
Or we can change, I don't know, yeah, people.
Benevolent women? Okay. People? All right, now we've got it in standard form. Do I have a major premise first?
Let's see, major is men,
Okay, how do you know the men's the major term?
because in the conclusion it's the predicate.
There you go. The predicate of the conclusion is a major term, and the major premise has to be written first, and the first premise has the major term in it. All right? My minor term is women, and that's written second in the second premise. Okay, let's put it in symbolic logic.
Okay, so first what we're going to do is we're going to take men, so capital M, and it's an A statement, so we're going to have it's going to be distributed is greater than people, so P,
Let's do BP, benevolent people.
BP, and that'll be undistributed.
Okay?
Okay, let me make sure that's U. Okay, the second one will be, okay, so women.
Okay?
Okay, so women, that'll be, I think it'll also be an A,
Mm-hmm.
and so that'll be distributed as greater than BP, and that'll be
Okay.
undistributed. Okay, so now we work on the conclusion.
Yeah, you put 3 dots.
Therefore, here we go. Women, W, Okay. Are men.
Tell me about the distribution.
And it'd be distributed for women and undistributed for men.
All right, let's look at the rules. Ricky, read the rules again.
The syllogism must contain exactly 3 terms used consistently.
1, 2, yes.
And used twice. Yeah,
And used twice,
each
yes.
used twice consistently.
The middle term of the syllogism must be distributed in at least one premise.
Okay, what's my middle term?
Benevolent people.
Is it distributed at least once?
Yes. Oh, no.
Okay, so that's
That's it. We'll
No.
be
undistributed middle,
Why is benevolent people the middle term?
because it does not appear in the conclusion, just in the premise.
Just in the-
So it's undistributed middle,
So it's not valid.
so it's not valid, so it's invalid. Okay, let's draw a Venn diagram of it.
Well, that was pretty easy.
Well,
Same as
it's
the
easy,
first
easy to find, yeah, it is. All dogs are cats. It proves all dogs are cats.
I just took that
See, if somebody brings that up in debate, you'd say, okay, cats are animals, dogs are animals, therefore all dogs are cats. So your syllogism is wrong. Don't ever debate
not valid because of what?
undistributed middle. You can put the number of the rule. What is that, Rule 3?
2.
2, Rule 2, okay. It happens a lot. You're not thinking straight.
Yeah.
All right, here's the Venn diagram. Let's take the subject, let's diagram the subject term with the middle term, ignoring P. What does it say? Lucas?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking.
Oh, I thought I smelled something.
Burning rubber. Okay. Yeah, okay. So we need to turn this into,
Oh, I just want to do a Venn diagram of it. So
Right.
tell me the first major premise.
okay, first major premise is women.
I want the whole premise, proposition, the whole proposition.
Oh, okay. So all men are benevolent.
All men are benevolent. So here's men and here's benevolent. So all men are benevolent men. So I shade in everything that's in S that's not in M. Right? Okay? Now tell me about my predicate term.
Okay, predicate term, all women are benevolent.
So here's women and here's benevolent. So I shade in everything that's women and not benevolent. Okay, what's the conclusion say?
All women are men. So that's
All, yeah, so,
SPM. With nothing over it.
yeah, right here, here's some that's not shaded in. Right here. If all women were men, you would, you'd shade in all, well, excuse me, it's over here, all of this. All women are men, but it's not shaded in.
I thought the line over it meant no.
Right. No men, there's no S here,
Uh-huh.
but there's women and benevolent people here. Women and benevolent people, but it should be empty. Because what your conclusion says is that that all women are men.
Right.
So I'd have to shade in all of women, but here's some women that's not,
Oh,
that are not men.
So let it back up there again. So for it to be a valid argument, you
This would have to be
have,
shaded in.
Yeah, but you got to have all that S, P, and M with a line over it. You got to have every single one of them there, right? You
Yeah,
got
that's what it's saying. It's saying that all women are men. So
Okay.
anything that, so all this would have to be shaded in.
Okay, all right. I see what you're saying there.
All right. Okay, Rick. Let's
All
do
right.
one for you.
Let's try one. All physicists have creative imagination. That is an eight. Do you want me to do it as a go or read it all and then do it?
Read it all.
No physicists are good businessmen. No good businessmen have creative imagination. All right. So the first statement is an A statement, and it would be big P, little d, greater than, would have be my copula?
You can't, it's got to be a form of to be. So it's
So
not in standard form, right?
So I gotta put it in standard form.
Right.
So all physicists are physicists who have creative imagination.
Okay. Or you could say people, if, well, it starts with a P, are
How about scientists? They'd be
scientists, right?
All right, so all physicists are scientists
Now there's my copula, are scientists.
that have a creative imagination.
Okay. So all P are S.
P, little d, R, S, little u.
Okay.
Okay, that's my first statement.
All right.
My second is...
So I want you to write that out in your homework.
I did.
Okay.
Oh, you mean
Yeah.
in my...
Well,
PD?
you might have to do it, yeah. I want you to,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
see, look at mine. I don't think you can turn in this page. You know,
Yeah.
you're going to have to redo it.
Yeah, that's true.
But you can redo it in symbolic logic.
Okay. All right, so my next statement is an E statement. No P with a little d with a not going to
Well,
sign.
yeah.
It is are good businessmen. So it's going to be a B with a D.
Okay.
E equals P small d, businessman D,
Okay.
small d. All right. My third statement, or my conclusion,
Three
is
dots.
no good businessman. So it's going to be B, D, with the no statement. Are businessmen...
No, you got businessmen first.
Oh, okay. So are physicists who have creative imaginations, right?
Yeah, what did we do for that? Well, I got two P's up there.
Or scientists.
We
You
changed,
wanna go to
the S, yeah, we want to do scientists.
Okay, are scientists.
All right, what's the mood of this syllogism?
It is an AEE.
So write that out, A-E-E,
Oh, that's good.
dash, what figure?
It is a 4.
No,
No, it ain't a 4. Hold on.
You know,
It's an AEE.
what is it, Jake?
it's gonna take me a while to get there.
Remember you want me to do the thing again?
Yeah.
This way is figure 1.
Okay.
This way is figure 2. This way is figure 3.
And
This
it
way
goes-
is figure 4.
And this one goes minor. It goes.
From the minor to, it's both of them are the subject.
Both of them are subject.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so subject to subject's a 3.
Okay, so it's figure 3.
AEE 3, and it's not valid because that's not a valid thing. AEE 4 is, but AEE 3 is.
It's not on the list.
That's right.
Well, let's find out what's wrong with it.
All right. Let's look at this. The syllogism must contain exactly 3 terms used consistently. Got that?
Got that.
The middle term of the syllogism must be distributed in at least one premise.
It's
Got
distributed in both premises.
that? Yeah, I got that. If either term is distributed in the conclusion, it must be distributed in the premise. I got that.
No, you don't.
Why don't?
Well, look at your predicate term of your
Oh,
conclusion.
okay. All right. Yeah. I
It's
see.
D. It's distributed. But up in the A statement, it's undistributed.
Okay. So the scientists.
Right. So
That's
it's
where I-
illicit process
Okay.
and specifically illicit major because it's in the major term.
Okay.
If it be in the minor term, it would be illicit minor. So it's not valid. Well, let's do a Venn diagram.
Illicit major.
See if I got some more Venn diagrams
Here,
here.
you want mine?
Yeah. Well,
I'll take one of these that you've already told.
well, no, but it's in Populi. You can make some more off.
Well, you need to draw it.
I hate to do it.
I can take one that's already
If
covered.
it's not valid, When you write not valid and what rule it goes with?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's
3.
Rule 3, and then write it out, illicit major, or illicit process, specifically illicit major.
Well,
You
let's
just added another step.
Well, I wanted you to do that. Yes,
That's why I didn't
Yes.
have to do the illicit, because I don't know what those are.
The major term just has to be a major premise. It doesn't have to be a certain part of it. It doesn't be the subject.
it can be the subject or the predicate, it just got to be in there.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so let's diagram this.
Okay, so
What's the subject and the,
the major subject is scientists, right?
yeah, but read me the first major premise.
All right. The first premise is all physicists are scientists that have creative imagination.
Okay, and my middle term is physicists, right?
Yes, sir. All
Okay.
physicists
So that's
are
it.
scientists.
Okay, so what do I shade in?
Uh,
I shade in everything that is in S that's not in M.
okay. Everything that is in S.
But not in M, right. So that's empty. What I'm saying that all the scientists are over here with the
Okay.
physicists.
Okay. My second premise is no physicists are good businessmen. So that would be,
I shade in this middle.
yeah,
No
S.
physicists, middle term,
Yeah.
are good businessmen.
Yes, sir.
So this is empty. Okay, I should be able to see my conclusion, and my conclusion says what? Read my conclusion.
My conclusion is no good businessmen are scientists who have creative imagination.
No good businessmen down here
Uh-huh.
are scientists that have creative imagination.
Yes,
See,
sir.
this should be shaded in.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't have four. Well, we didn't have four, did we? We had three, but they didn't line up.
See, this is shaded in, so I could say no S, which is what?
Scientists,
Scientists are
physicists, businessmen, or physicists.
businessmen. Is that what the conclusion says?
Let's see, no good businessmen are scientists.
Oh, this is scientists.
Yeah, the first one is physicists. S is physicists. P is scientists.
What's
And,
M? No.
Businessmen.
Is the middle term businessmen?
All physicists are good businessmen. No physicists are good businessmen.
What's the middle term?
Businessmen, isn't it?
Some-
Physicists,
Something that appears in the premise, not in the conclusion.
Oh, this is.
physicists.
Physicists. So this is physicists.
Okay.
And the S is what? The minor premise?
The minor premise is businessmen.
And
then the premise, the
the
major
predicate, yeah,
is scientists.
okay. And the conclusion says, no, read me the conclusion again.
The conclusion is no good businessmen
Right.
are scientists that have creative imagination. No good businessmen are scientists that have creative imagination.
Oh, I must have done this wrong. I should have shaded this over here and left this out. See, because I've got that all shaded. I've got this shaded in, it shouldn't be. That's why it's invalid. So I did the middle term wrong. Read the minor premise to me.
The no physicists are good businessmen, the second one,
Yeah, no physicist.
are good businessmen.
Yeah, this should be shaded in. And this should be shaded in. I'm going to have to think about that. See, it looks like I've got this shaded in, but if it's invalid, It shouldn't be. I must have done the Venn diagram wrong. Anyway, do a Venn diagram, do the best you can. Now, if it's a particular statement, you have to put an X somewhere. Right? If it's a universal, you shade.
So just before we start on the board, number 4 is invalid because there are 4 statements instead of exactly 3.
Number 4,
Yes.
you can't get just 3. Yeah, probably so.
You said I could somehow make it to where I get
No, I doubt you can.
Okay.
So that was not a syllogism. Let me give you one from the Bible. You got a Bible with you?
Give him a pocket for the.
I got one right
Read Psalms 87:7. Well, no, I don't want to do that one. Read Romans 14:23. And this, no, we'll do.
No.
Romans 14:23.
Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to do 10 of these like this.
But the man who doubts, right, you won't king it. And he that doubteth is damned, and if he eat, because he eateth not of faith. For whatever so is not of faith is sin.
Okay, you see any premise indicators there?
Because
Okay, so that'd be a premise.
and for.
4 is a
Yeah.
Well, that's
No, it's
Oh,
premise.
4 is the premise, yeah.
What's the conclusion of that?
Whoever has doubts is condemned to be eat.
So all religious acts that are not of faith are sinful religious acts.
Okay.
Okay? So I could say all things that are not of faith, all religious acts that are not of faith, are sinful religious acts. So no F is S. All right? Now what kind of statement is that?
A statement?
That's an A statement. Okay? So now if I can contrapose an A because I can spell contrapose with
Well,
an A, right?
now wait a minute. How's it an A statement? No faith?
All religious acts that are not of faith.
Oh, okay.
All things not of faith.
All things not of faith are sinful things. Okay? All right, now I can contrapose an A, and I can say, no sinful act is a faithful thing. That's true by contraposition.
Isn't that an E?
Huh?
Isn't that an E statement? No sinful.
All not unsinful acts. All unsinful acts are acts of faith.
That's an A. So
That's an A.
Oh,
Now, when you contrapose something, it stays an A. If it starts out an A, it stays an A. If it starts out an O, it stays an O. So that's a neat thing about contraposition. All right, my minor premise is all instrumental music that isn't all instrumental music that's a religious act is not of faith. All instrumental music, all religious instrumental music that is not all instrumental music that is a religious act is not
You can't have all of it, right?
yeah I can't is all instrumental music
Is an act that is a non-faith based act.
yeah I don't know that I want none there. Let's look at the syllogism and see if I got it right. All unsinful acts are acts of faith. Instrumental music is not of faith. Therefore, instrumental music is not a sinful act. Now let's overt the conclusion. What do I do when I overt? I change the quality
Negate.
and negate the subject. So all instrumental music is a non-sinful act. Now I really think that this is what one of the statements he made on the radio.
So this guy was
He's
for
tr-
instrumental music?
No, he was against it.
But you
Well,
said
he made
instrumental
the
music
statement that
is
it
a
is.
non-sinful act?
Yeah.
And called it a syllogism.
Yeah.
That is the-
So that's kind of what I want you to do. Let's look at some others here. Let's look at, before you go to the board, argument. Only persons who can believe are persons who can be baptized. Okay, how do I deal with an only statement? See, I can say only females are mothers, but that's not a standard form. I have to take the predicate and make it the subject. All
mothers and females.
all mothers are females. I can't say all females are mothers. So I can say all persons who can be baptized are persons who can believe. So all persons who can be baptized are persons who believe. Infants are not persons who can believe. So no infant is a person who can believe. Therefore, infants are not persons who can be baptized. Okay? Now, I'll do that down here a little bit further. All people who can be baptized are included in the class of people who believe. All people who are people who can believe. Okay. Infants are not people who can believe. Therefore, infants are not people who can be baptized. All right? What's my distribution up here in the first statement? What's my distribution here? What's my distribution here? Now we're ready to apply the rules. I got 3 terms, each of them used twice.
Yes, sir.
The AE.
And it's, what's the mood? What's the figure?
Okay.
Is it on the list?
Let me see.
Yes, it's a
Chemistry.
camisole.
Yeah, they all had names. The AAA one is Barbara Ann. Okay, let's look at the rules. Let's apply the rules.
Okay.
What rules?
The 6 or 7 rules we have.
Oh,
Wow.
the syllogism must contain?
Yeah,
Exactly 3 terms. These consist of.
okay,
Got that.
there.
all right.
The middle term of the syllogism must be distributed in at least one premise.
What's my middle term?
No.
I don't remember, but
Persons who believe,
People who believe.
which is distributed
that's
there.
the middle term?
That's middle term because it doesn't
But it's
appear.
not in the conclusion.
It's not in the
Oh,
conclusion.
yeah.
So middle term, it appears in the premise, not in the conclusion.
And it is distributed once, so.
It is distributed once, so
All
that's
right, let's
okay.
go to the next one. If either term is distributed in the conclusion, it must be distributed in the premise. PBA, PBA. Yep, we are. ID,
We got-
ID.
Yeah, ID.
Okay,
All right, a valid syllogism cannot have 2 negative premises. It only has 1 negative premise
Okay.
and a negative conclusion. If either premise of the syllogism is negative, the conclusion must be negative. And it is.
Hallelujah.
We're down to 6. If it makes it past this one, it's going to be
Valid.
from 2 universal premises, no particular conclusion may be drawn.
What? And you don't have any universal premises, do you?
they got all of them are universal,
Oh.
so I don't have any particulars.
Oh, no particular. Got you.
Okay, let's draw a Venn diagram, see if we can do better.
How do we?
So that means if you couldn't have some, you had to have alls or nones.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, my subject term is infants, right?
That is true.
And my predicate term is people who can be baptized. And my middle term is people who believe.
So, infants is you major?
A minor, it's a subject of the conclusion.
Okay. And
This is the
PBA
purpose.
is you major?
Right, because it's, okay.
Okay.
Now, the first statement says, all PPA are included in the class of PPB. So all PPA are included in the class of PPB. So all this is empty over here. So everything that's over here is over here. All right? And then the minor premise says, no infant is included in the class of PPE. So this is,
Okay, so you're like sort of pouring water here. You're like, if it's not in this, it's in this. So you take it, that's what the lines are.
I'm just trying to do a visual picture of what we've written down.
Okay, all right.
Okay, then it says, the conclusion says, no infants are people who can be baptized. Now, do you see that? See, it's right here. This is already empty. So it's valid. I don't have to do anything to it.
Hallelujah.
Are you ready to go to the board?
No, sir. I'm liking this.
You ready to go home?
I'm so scared there.
You want to come up here and do something for Radio Land?
Joe,
Josh, we'll make you famous, brother. Come on up.
George's
Somebody suggested this last night. We had students up here. So I've got some paper here you can use. Let's look at, let's see, we've done 4, we've said it's not a syllogism. Okay, who wants to do 5? All right, who wants to do 6?
I want to do about Texas.
Okay,
I'll do 7.
and you do 7. Okay, Jake, you do 8.
So it's okay for me to erase the Greek?
Yeah.
I took pictures of our
All right, Jake, talk to them and explain it to them. Oh, let me pass out your last homework here about the about Nazis.
Oh, we got more.
Yeah.
Joel.
Not many. It's about like this one.
This is plenty.
Hey, there's my pen.
Now here's ones that's in the book. This is a copy of the ones that's in the book.
Then you just want us to do it in
I want you to tell me everything you know.
Can we just do symbolic logic?
You can do symbolic logic without writing.
So I don't want to do that.
Okay, I'm going to give you a copy of the ones that's in the book. I'll give you a copy of
That's better.
the extra homework. They're all listed under 5. This is a 5th class reading.
All right, number 5.
Let's see if I can find the mermaids here.
So we're going to have an A statement, and a O statement.
Well, this only got 1 page.
So all Muslims
Put your right there.
are
I'll give you a
non-drinkers.
copy of it.
Distributed, undistributed.
So you need some sober time.
Amen.
But when you got it,
All vegetarians distributed
got
are.
it.
We can't soak.
Wait, I'm doing the wrong one. Hold on.
And give me a call.
Now, I'm just supposed to write it the way it is.
All
I'm not
Muslims
supposed to change it.
are
Well,
vegetarians.
You got to get in standard
All
form.
vegetarians
Get that major criminal
Are hungry
first.
people.
So,
So we can put people there. Hungry people. So then, some hungry people are
I
not
had to draw a Venn diagram.
Muslims
Yeah.
distributed.
Yeah. Can we make that larger so we can read it? I think there's a way over here to make
Yeah,
it
what's
larger.
the deal, John?
This is as big
Oh,
as
it is.
gets.
That's big as it gets. Okay.
I gotta have room.
Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have to.
So we have our major term in the
Wait.
major premise.
I'm doing yours.
We got our minor
I've
term
got 6.
in the minor premise.
What number am I doing? I'm doing 5. Who got 5?
I have 5.
All right, there it is.
I got it.
You should be on the board there, Rick.
And then we're going this way with our middle term.
Now, the main thing is tell me whether it's valid or invalid. But I am gonna grade the little stuff too.
So,
Turn in your homework, Dad. Don't look like I have a lot.
I turned in mine.
Oh.
this is an A4.
And this Lucas
A-
something up here is
Did I spell mine?
Yeah, you did.
It's better. So let's see if this is valid or not. Use fly leaf. It is not valid. So invalid.
Tell me what rule it breaks.
I will. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Oh, it's high.
Okay.
People can't write stuff right.
The syllogism must contain exactly 3 terms consistently. Passes rule 1.
Predicate terms not distributed.
Let me look.
Middle term must be distributed in its one premise. It is.
That's right. So
If either term is distributed, the conclusion must be distributed in premises. Distributed and distributed.
You can throw darts at Aristotle for this.
A valid syllogism cannot contain 2 negative premises. It doesn't. If either premise of the syllogism is negative, the conclusion must be negative. That's fine. For 2 universal premises, no particular can be drawn. So that's our problem. These are universal, and this is particular.
Okay, that's called existential fallacy.
So it breaks on number 6.
Existential fallacy.
Spell existential.
And you can read,
I don't know how to spell existential.
well, I just put E-F,
Okay.
existential fallacy.
Rule 6.
You can read about that.
E.
All right? Tell me what you know.
Some engineers are dope friends. Some
Right.
conductors are not dope friends.
There we go.
Fiends.
Okay.
Some engineers are conductors.
Okay.
So I'm throwing that out in this syllogism.
Well, now, see, this is your premise of your predicate of your conclusion. It has to be in the first premise. So you have to change, put the first premise up. Rewrite it up here.
So that doesn't go there.
It's a
No, this goes here. This premise.
Need to check and see about where your
Predicate of the conclusion.
major term, if it's your major premise.
Which is here.
So this is your major term. So you major premise. That's good. Minor terms and minor premise. That's good. Now you need to find
Your
out.
symbol over here.
That's your middle term. So what are they called? You have move and
This is I.
you have mood and what's the other thing?
Figure.
We have to write figure it says. Yeah, mood is what? Okay, so and then what figure is it? You have your little drawing
All right.
thing.
Now, I'm getting, here's the
No,
predicate.
let me ask.
Going
first,
from
what made
here to
that the major
here, which
Has
is,
it has the predicate of the
Okay, all right, so
I
that,
think it's 1.
has to be written first.
all right.
Then the subject of the conclusion goes in minor. All right?
All right, so we rearranged the
Yeah,
first two.
here to
before
there.
we got to the last.
Right.
Got it.
This is imperfect,
Okay.
active, indicative.
Understood
First
that.
person.
And it's invalid.
Yes.
So
we gotta get on.
I'll stay here.
invalid because.
Right.
I
And there.
think,
So that makes this.
presidents,
Yeah, change it.
O,
the middle term
so O,
must
this is
be
the mood.
distributed in the
Okay.
case one premise. The middle term
It is not distributed.
Figure.
and so it's an undistributed middle.
All right.
Okay.
Here's my diagram of that.
Yeah. So this way is figure
Hey,
one.
did you draw any
This way is
circles?
figure two.
I got my
This
circles.
way is figure two. This way is figure one. So it looks like it's figure two.
Why?
See, D doesn't appear, D's have been coming. It doesn't appear
Right.
down here. So it's the predicate of both sides. So that's
This goes by the middle term?
Yeah.
Okay.
The figure goes by where the middle term.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's wrong.
Okay, mine's wrong. Or something. Will you check mine? Where they going?
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, when you're done, yeah.
So,
All right.
Okay, since the middle term is in both predicates, so it
Figure
goes this
two.
predicate to that predicate.
So dash 2. Now, let's
So this is going to be our Muslims. This is going to be
three
our
terms.
people. People that are hungry.
There's
People.
nothing here.
And this is going to be
It's invalid, right?
vegetarians.
So let's find out what's wrong.
It's invalid.
So all Muslims are vegetarians.
Let's see what's
That
wrong.
means we got to get rid of all this.
It can break more than one rule.
Okay. The syllogism was between exactly three terms.
Okay?
It is
Two
consistency.
D's, two C's.
Okay.
Okay, 2 D's, all right? And
All
that's
vegetarians
The middle term of the
are
syllogism that
Mhm.
people
must
who
be
are hungry.
distributed in at least one premise.
Is it?
It is.
So that was all right.
No, okay, if either term is distributed in conclusion, it must be distributed in. All right, either term is in here,
Yeah,
it must
it-
be determined.
They distributed up there, but you don't have any distributed, so that was all right.
all right, so the subject.
So that means E.
And therefore some
No,
people,
it just means that if it's D
are
down here, it's
Muslims.
got to be D up here.
some people are not Muslims.
It's just D was distributed, then this would have to be D.
Oh, I got you. I got you.
The middle is not in the conclusion, right?
Valid syllogism.
The middle is
does
not the
have
conclusion.
Two negative premises. There's no negative.
Okay,
There's only one,
right.
so it's okay. If either premise of the syllogism is negative,
Get that up
the
there.
conclusion must be negative. That's where we're
That's
going.
one.
So
So
all Muslims
rule-
are
And then another rule.
vegetarians. So we have to have
that
all
You
these
have to have at least one.
covered up
premise.
so that Muslims
two,
are all in a group of them.
two universal premises.
A particular cannot.
All vegetarians are peoples.
So what does that mean?
That's
That if you had an A and an E.
And some
you know, I,
people
O's,
are Muslims. Some people are not
But this is
Muslims.
invalid too, because you don't have.
So there's one person in these two groups.
Which is
Oh,
not-
universal.
Let me have this
All
in the
right.
middle.
Gotcha.
Okay, Lucas, all
Okay, mine's
right?
all presidents are well-paid people.
All right.
So all is the
Yeah.
qualified.
Good.
I think so.
Come in, be
Presidents.
Hang on, I'm going to
town,
draw the underlining and stuff for
I
this.
add people.
All right,
Copula are.
okay.
Some teachers are not presidents, so some called teachers.
So quantifier, subject,
presidents,
copula,
pronoun, are
predicate.
not, copula.
Quantifier,
And therefore some is
subject,
You tried to draw a big
Qualifier.
diagram, Jake.
teachers,
Oh, yeah,
nouns,
start, exhibit circles.
added people, pronouns.
One step at a time.
Are not.
quantifier,
So then
Subject.
What's the move?
copula, predicate.
AOO.
Okay, what's the move?
And I've before.
No.
What's the move?
Hey,
AOO. AOO. Oh.
Oh,
This is 1,
Yeah, there we go.
this is
Damn,
2,
my knee.
this is 3.
All right, show me how to put
I
it.
struggle with that.
All right, show
So we're going to start off with our
Is the term that's not used.
Yeah. So
some
it can't be teachers, it
Some
can't be.
A.
Well,
Must
it's
be
president,
presidents, so it goes like
It's
this.
all A.
So the president goes
Some.
from
Oh,
the
yeah, so,
subject,
okay.
the
Some
main
A
subject,
is
to the minor predicate.
Right.
So it's like,
ND.
So it's 3 to 1.
Ah,
So some of our S is our middle term.
but it's still,
If it's going the other way.
Right,
So there should be an X in both
but
of
it's
those.
still not valid.
Because there's at least one
All right.
person.
So
in
we
those
did
categories.
symbolic logic over here.
Okay, got it.
Now,
All right.
all
Now,
of
read the rules.
this term is that one. That
So
means
mark this
these should both be shaved away.
Okay, rule number 1. The syllogism must contain exactly 3 terms used consistently.
All right.
T, PR, and P.
Okay.
Use consistent.
Okay.
2, the middle term of the syllogism must be distributed in at least one premise. So
This
that's
was the middle term.
PR. So
That's
It is there.
Oh, wait.
we're just doing well.
Okay.
Okay. 3, if either term is distributed in the conclusion, it must be distributed in the
So
premise.
this is distributed here.
And it's not.
This
That
needs
is here. So
Breaks rule 3.
it's a this is this is process, this is major.
Before you go to
Okay.
Do we need to write that illicit process?
all of these
Yeah.
guys are
Okay, because it didn't say
our
it.
middle.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's gonna say it in the chapter.
All right, so
The
then
illicit
take X, you
process,
took the
illicit
X out.
This is major. Okay, well, keep reading the rules, we might read more and more.
What's throwing me off, Ricky, is you got the A and then you get the S here, so it's ND though. Okay.
I'm just showing you what.
Yeah, first I didn't see that. Okay.
All right. Okay. Number 4, a valid syllogisms cannot have 2 negative premises.
Okay, just has one.
Yeah, we're good. If either premises to the syllogism is negative, the conclusion must be negative. We got
We
that.
got that.
And 6, from 2 universal premises, no particular conclusion may be drawn.
Okay, we got one universal, one particular, and conclusion.
So we're good.
Okay, let's do a Venn diagram.
I'm not good with this either.
Okay, so starting. So A is here.
Okay, you
ND
can
is
tell I
here.
didn't.
No, I don't
There's
know.
one person in the group of both of these.
I didn't see you do this.
I'm gonna think it out.
And there.
Okay, so here's my subject, which is
President.
here,
Oh,
teacher.
oh yeah.
Here's my predicate.
Now, everybody in T
Well-paid or-
is in A.
Well paid.
Well-paid.
Oh, T,
people.
okay, T is
President, PR.
T is in M. So
All right,
Okay.
so we can do
These two have to be
basic
paperwork.
premise first.
Okay, so presidents are well paid. All presidents.
this one and that one.
So PR.
Because if you're in this group, you need to be
This
touching
one?
this supplement.
Okay, you got to show so all presidents.
All right, what the?
No,
And then
president.
now some
PR.
T
Well paid people.
in,
But it says all presidents.
which you've already got the
Right.
X there.
So everybody who's a
Somebody
president
is
is well-paid people is over here.
So that's it.
So this is in.
Invalid because
I did backwards. Okay. I thought it'd be in here. This is where both of them.
Well, that would have to be read.
Okay. Number 2. No, the second one. Some teachers are not.
have to put the X's to
So
weird.
teachers.
Okay, and now we got two.
Oh,
I
yeah.
is weird. I don't like it.
X.
Have to do Venn diagram with 2 eyes.
Teachers. So that only applies to teachers.
That only applies to some. Some
Some
teachers
teachers.
are not.
So we only put X in the team.
Somebody was told. Yeah, so there's at least one teacher that's not president.
And then conclusion is that teachers are not well paid people. So, some teachers are not well paid people.
Yeah, there's at least, and we'll see, it's like it's valid to me, because that's what it's saying.
But it
There's at least
breaks.
one teacher that's not, and it breaks the rules, so I don't have a diagram. So, well, what he does say sometimes, a teacher who's not well paid, it could be on the line. And the conclusion doesn't say which side of the line it's on. See, it should be up here, it makes it valid. But, he says there's at least one teacher that is not a well-paid person. So there's at least, see this, there's teachers down here, this is it according to the first one. But there's at least one,
That makes it.
so I'd have, and so that makes it a little better. So sometimes Venn diagrams help, sometimes.
George, see what is my Venn diagram?
All right.
Let's look at it from here, I guess.
Well, let me draw one, we'll see. Find a piece of paper here. Sometimes they work, especially when you've got a particular one, you gotta put it on a line.
Put it on a line?
Yeah, he'll tell you that in the book.
Oh, you didn't tell
And
me.
then they have to tell me what size line to put it on. Okay, give me your particulars. What's my major,
I can't remember. It's like
what's my subject?
Muslims, I think.
That's my
Well,
subject term? You got, okay, you can take that if you want.
yeah. Subject term is Muslims.
Okay, what's my predicate?
People.
which is hungry people. But not
Hungry people. Okay, what's my middle term?
Vegetarians.
All right. Now, what's my major premise say?
The major premise says that all Muslims are vegetarians. Every
So I'm
single
going to
Muslim
shade every single Muslim who
is not in the vegetarian.
not a
circle.
vegetarian is empty.
Yours didn't look like you had it right.
Okay.
I got that. Second premise says that all vegetarians are hungry people.
So I got to shade in all the vegetarians that are not in hungry people.
Got that. And this is where I don't like having to.
Now you ought to be able to see the conclusion. What's the
The
conclusion?
conclusion says that some people, some hungry people are not Muslims.
Okay, what it's saying is that there's at least one X over here. There's at least one hungry person that's not a Muslim.
Yeah, I got that.
So that's on the line too?
So there shouldn't be an X in here, right? I'll put another person in that
Yeah,
box.
and since you have to add the X, so you ought to be able to see the conclusion from without doing anything to it.
Okay.
So it's invalid, right? What rule?
It's invalid. You broke Rule 6.
Which says something about the particular.
Yeah, if you have two universal premises, you can't have a universal
Is it white?
conclusion. That's my book right there.
Okay. All right. You got enough for today?
Please. You gonna check mine?
Yeah. Tell me about it.
Got an I statement. Hold on a second. Let me find the paper there. Where is it? I statement. All Americans are non-drinkers. Then you got an A statement. All Texans are Americans. Then you got another I statement. Some Texans are non-drinkers.
Okay.
All right, it's a I-A-I. That's my dyslexia. And it's in the first thing.
Figure one.
Figure one.
Okay.
It's invalid because it's got an undistributed middle.
Okay.
And that's the best drawing I can make that.
All right, let me try it. I'm going to try and do any better. Can I sit on that? All right. There's my subject, there's my predicate, there's my middle term. What's my subject?
It is non-drinkers. Indeed.
All Americans, is the same?
It says all Americans are non-drinkers.
Or some Americans.
Now, some Americans are non-drinkers.
Non-drinkers.
Then you got
And my
Texans.
Texans.
And
Our
then,
middle term is American.
yeah.
Okay, so let's do the predicate, let's do the conclusion first.
Okay.
Oh, wait a minute, you don't have it in, oh yeah, it's in non-drinkers.
Okay. All right. So,
Non-drinkers is
So-
the wait a minute, I don't have this right.
what else?
Non-drinkers is the predicate,
Why is that?
because it's over here. It's the predicate of the conclusion. And
Oh,
so
I thought you put the major over here.
you put the subject over here, it's like S-P-M.
Okay.
Okay, so I gotta have non-drinkers over here, okay?
Well, I've messed up everything.
And what's the subject term? Teachers, right?
Yeah,
Texans.
Texans.
And Americans down there. Okay, now we got
Okay.
it.
All right. So, for my conclusion, you say do it first?
I want to do the premises, but I want to do the predicate of the conclusion. Okay, let's do the major premise, okay?
All right. It's some Americans are non-drinkers.
So there's at least, that's an I statement, so there's at least one American that's a non-drinker, so he's right in here. I'll put him
There
on the line.
might be, but he ain't in Texas. All right.
Well, he's right on the line.
Yeah, all right. All Texans are Americans. And then
All Texans.
are Americans.
There's a guy in Congress said he wouldn't live in Texas if he's the last state in the world. All Texans are Americans, so this is empty over here.
Okay. So they go over here.
There, yeah, they're all in that.
All right. Some Texans are non-drinkers.
Okay, now that would be true if this X was over here on this side of the line.
And it's not.
It's on the line, so I can't tell. So that's more information.
Okay.
And if I have to add anything to it, it's invalid.
Okay. So all I did was just down mud on the wrong side. 'Cause I had
Yeah,
my-
and there's a lot of students that are doing that.
Okay. All right.
All right. Enough for today?
Yep.
It's fine.
Enough for the state.
Okay, I don't have your homework. Josh, you gonna turn some in? Jake's gonna be a little late, but that's all right.
I stapled it. I remember having stapled. I thought I'd run it into you.
Got your name on it?
Yeah.
I turned mine in.
Ricky, oh, it must be up here in this stuff.
Because I remember saying, if his staple wasn't here.
Hey,
Yeah, I remember that
have
too.
no
Let's see if we can
homework.
find it in my junk.
If Josh turned in his homework and you have no homework, then Josh did not turn in his homework.
Yeah, you're gonna make all kinds of syllogisms now that you know how to do it. Well, what happened to it? That's Ricky's,
Is
right?
this it right here? I got my little H on it.
Oh, okay. There
There it is.
All right.
This is why you always highlight blue H
There you go.
for homework.
Okay, now do the car thing. That's your extra homework.
Hey, what do we have?
Don't forget to take.
We have this shapes.
Don't forget to take the test.
So no Nazis or benevolent.
Yeah, you're gonna have to change that, right?
So this is
And then you got one about mermaids, or we did the one about mermaids. Have we done the one about mermaids?
We started on the one with mermaids.
Okay,
I don't know.
When we just deal with the mermaid.
I got lost.
That's
I
one
halfway
page.
through and I run out of tape.
all right. I'll see you next time. Call me if you have any problems.
Hope you're back. You're feeling better.
Yeah, I need to get someone to come stay with Sarah, and I'll go to the chiropractor. I think that's what I'm going to do. Chiropractor.
So on this extra homework, you just want us to make it valid. So you're telling me it can be made?
Yeah, I say the last statement. I say, can you make this valid? I say yes. Well, I've forgotten how.
What if we prove you wrong?
Yeah, you might prove me wrong,
so we've got three things.
which has happened before.
Now, roses are right there.
Yeah, and you got roses, which is in your book,
Okay, we need to have our vote.
and you've got he groans whenever he's.
Thank you. Go ahead and tell me.
You don't have it, Lucas. I've never seen you
lost
with your book.
Because
First day you had.
George gives us everything we need. Why should I bring my book?
All I
my
need of
goodness.
is him provide.
You use my book more than you've used more than I have.
Let George do it. That's
Now, let me tell you, LS, he didn't give us the flyleaf. The flyleaf's in the book. He ain't gave us that.
Logic student.
I'll probably give you some. I've got copies of
Well,
that.
thank you for not letting my head explode.
Yeah,
Good.
today wasn't too bad.
Good try, though.
All right, see y'all later.
Man.
That was great for me. I get to go home and do Greek until
Yeah.
3 more hours.
There's the clincher.
That's tomorrow. We ain't doing that yet.
Yeah, right. I got it.
I had one that was kind of.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry. I had one that was a little tricky, but I think I figured out. Where was it? Is this one? So it was Austin. You looking for? I didn't put an accent there. I mean, put what is that? A circumflex over there?
Right. So that's second aorist.
See, I
Oh, it's
can't
first aorist
tell
passive.
whenever we're past it if it's first aorist or second aorist.
If it's passive,
Yeah, because the endings are the same, both first, second aorist, passive.
the second aorist does not have a theta. So-
Second aorist, negative theta.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Second aorist passive does not have a theta.
Oh, okay. So that might help me with
Grapho,
that.
yeah, Grapho is the only one that we've had so far. So it's first aorist passive and then third person plural.
So they have brought.
Yeah, I want you to not use the word have. I want to say that for the perfect tense. They brought.
I thought we had to.
Now, you
Say
say it's
something.
deponent? Is it deponent?
It's the. I believe it's the yes. Because it's the aorist form.
The pros,
Yeah.
pros ogdo.
You know, let me find it. This word. Prosphero.
Prosphero.
Because the aorist of Pharaoh is that where we have it there.
Anakin.
Right. What was it? Anakin? Yeah. 'Cause see, here was
So it's not deponent, so we translated that. They brought
the children to the Lord. Yeah.
Because,
Take out the have, I want to save that for perfect.
so is, how do I need to say that? That they brought?
Yeah, just say it's a simple past.
Because the first thing I put was the children have been brought, which I guess would be wrong to say have been.
Well, since it's passive, we'll have to explain that passive.
The children were being brought?
Well, that would be if it were a continuous action.
Yeah, how do I do passive one time?
They,
I thought you were trying to tell us to put something in there.
yeah. Let's look at the third principle. Okay, that's aorist active. This is aorist passive. Sixth principle part. And it's plural. So children could be the they.
It could be, but I'm thinking it's not because of the word, the way you have pros, that word, because prospero meant I bring to, and you take the accusative of what is being brought and the data of what is being brought to. This could be accusative or nominative, because that's how neuter nouns work.
But it's not aorist active. See, we've got to translate it active. They brought children. But I've got to explain that passage. So I think the children have been brought to the Lord.
The children have been brought to the Lord.
I think this is a subject. And
That's
it's
how I had it
really-
the first time, but the way I was changing it because of the way
Yeah.
prospero is.
Yeah, no. Because if you had the aorist, first aorist active, third principal part, you have they were doing something.
Yeah.
Now somebody's receiving something. And this is the dative of the person brought to.
Yeah.
And this is the,
Accusative of being brought.
yeah, but this is actually the subject. And we don't have the children
See,
have been brought to the Lord.
I hate that because technoi could
Can be,
be.
right, it's
So
neuter.
that's what really threw me. I was like, man, they
Yeah,
throwing me a curveball,
right,
made you.
right.
But I guess he wasn't.
Right. The children, you're going to have to say have there to get the been. See, been is passive.
Yes.
And so the children have been brought to the Lord. That's a single act in the past.
Okay. So children
That's the subject.
have been.
And
So I need to change
where'd you get the been? You got the been from the past.
Yeah.
And it's not the opponent, that's why you have been.
Okay.
Okay, I'll see you in the morning. Or in the afternoon.
Yeah. I got Wayne in the morning.
What you got him for?
Restoration movement.
Is he still doing the take-home tests?
Yes.
They take hours and hours?
Yeah. The same things. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I reckon.
Yeah, I guess.
It may be a little broke.
Yeah, it's a little old. I got some yellow pages. I've got a new computer, and I've got a better Greek program to put the accents and stuff right above the word, so that's what I'm doing.
I got my Greek New Testament yesterday.
Oh, good.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah. You can recognize some of the words.
Yeah.
Good deal. We'll see you, Josh.
First book of Mark. Matthew. Big deal.
Yeah, there you go. First word in the Bible.
I didn't New Testament. I know it.
There you go. The book of the generations.